You're probably wasting hours trying to figure out why your videos are not getting clicked. You have the perfect hook, your editing is clean, and your content is overall pretty good. But if your thumbnail doesn't follow one of these proven psychological frameworks, your ideal client is going to scroll right past you. Over the last year, I have analyzed hundreds of thumbnails across the channels that I help manage, in multiple different niches too. And the data shows there are really only a handful of formats that consistently drive inbound leads. So in this video, I'm going to break down every single type of YouTube thumbnail format. I'm going to explain to you why they work and how you can apply them to your channel so you can stop guessing and start getting views that actually convert into cash. So the first format is going to be the showcase thumbnail. As you can see here, it's pretty much consists of you in the middle and then a bunch of things that you're showcasing in the front of you. It's pretty much when you place a physical object directly tied to the video topic and pair it with a bold contrarian claim. For example, a McDonald's cup next to something that says stop buying this. This is you showcasing the actual item with your claim in it. But you can see, for example, in this one, he doesn't really have a claim, which is completely fine. It's still you just showcasing the items that you're talking about in the video, and the title helps support that as well. It works because the viewer sees something familiar, but the context challenges their actual assumption. And the intention of this is to pretty much disrupt assumptions and stop the scrolling. It works best for like opinion and educational videos. The only downside of this, to be honest, is that it requires a clear recognizable object. And if the visual is ambiguous, the message gets lost and, well, the click just never happens. The reach of this type of thumbnail is really good, but the selling power / authority you have with this thumbnail is not so high. It doesn't display any numbers or really anything at all, but it is a cool looking thumbnail. All right, you can see that we have so many here, but the next one we have is the burning question. This one is pretty good. It's pretty much a single specific question displayed on the thumbnail that speaks directly to the viewer's curiosity. And so the question or the words in the thumbnail that invoke curiosity, that is the hook. There's no explanation needed. I mean, if you look at this one, for example, from Dan Martell, it's like, holy, try these. And so it makes people curious. It's like, okay, they're asking themselves a burning question as well in their head. They're like, whoa, try what? That's the burning question. And they're going to click this because they have so much curiosity. And so the human brain cannot leave them an open loop, because when a viewer sees a question that directly speaks to their situation, they're compelled just to click that video, because then they can close the loop and finally get the answer. And keep in mind, the more specific and the more personal this is to the actual viewer or the person scrolling and seeing the thumbnail, the higher CTR you're going to have. The reach of this is extremely good if done properly, and the selling power / authority is the same as before. It's not so high, but it's also not the worst. I'd honestly say it has more selling power than authority. So I'd give it probably one more box, but I'm going to keep it here. The next one is going to be a fact drop. And as you can see, this one showcases real numbers, real specific data, and it's displayed pretty big on the thumbnail. Like, you can't miss this. The numbers or the data have to be really big and prominent. For example, like a client interview video, 10K in 10 days, right? That's pretty big, and you're going to see it in the center, while both people from the client interview are on both sides. And this works especially for B2B because numbers are objective. They feel provable, and the viewer wants to reverse engineer that exact result. And so the more specific the number, the more credible that it feels. Plus with this, the intention is to build instant trust and proof of concept. The only downside of this thumbnail is that if you do not have strong data or real data to show, well, the format's just going to fall flat. It can't be fake numbers, and it can't be vague at all. It needs to be very specific. The reach on this thumbnail is extremely good. It's most likely going to be bottom of funnel though. And so when I say reach, I mean reach the ideal client profile. And the selling power / authority is extremely high because it's really specific and it captures their attention. Next one is going to be a roadmap video. And this used to be pretty good and it used to have extremely high reach. But ever since everyone started doing it, it's honestly going down because you see so many even less credible people posting this type of thumbnail. So it's actually going down now. But this can be something like a visual framework, a flow chart, or even like a whiteboard diagram shown in a thumbnail. This signals to the viewer that the video contains a proven system or a proven framework. And so this type of thumbnail is mainly just going to capture the attention of business owners and high ticket buyers because they're really drawn to this type of stuff. So this positions you as someone who thinks with systems, not someone who just guesses and, does things randomly. It's super intentional and it's high intent with the viewers that you have. The only downside to this is that you have lower broad reach because it's niche specific and it will not go viral, but it will attract exactly the right people. The selling power / authority with this is extremely high though. It's at the max. All right, now on to the next one. We have the hot take, a bold or controversial urgent statement that feels impossible to ignore. For example, a fake tweet or notification from Meta that says, Facebook ads has changed. That statement feels like breaking news. I mean, people who run ads, they need Facebook to stay the same or even get a little bit better. But if it's changed, they don't know exactly what changed. They want to click that video. They want to understand what it actually is. They want to understand how to take advantage of it so they can use it for their business. So it triggers FOMO at the highest level and viewers feel like they are missing critical information and they need it right now. So the urgency forces the click before they even think about it. The intention with this video is to have a lot of reach and capture attention. And it's best for trend-based or opinion-based videos. The only downside of this is that it has low authority, and if it's overused, it will start to feel like clickbait and your audience will start to trust you less. So the reach is pretty good, but the selling power / authority, it's not so good. Next one is going to be the transformation split. This is a common one and it's been on YouTube since the day it came out. Probably not, probably a few years after, but you get what I mean. This is pretty much a side-by-side split showcasing the before and after. It could be physical, it could be business. For example, $0 to $1 million, and you're explaining the journey in the actual video. When a viewer sees this, they're like, okay, this was the before, this is the after. He's explaining it. I can try to replicate this for myself. So the visual proof removes the doubt that they can't do it themselves, and it makes it more like tangible and feel achievable. The intention of this is to show proof or the transformation, and it builds desire by making the outcome feel real and attainable. The only downside is that it requires a genuine, visually clear transformation. Like if the before and after are too similar, the impact is going to be lost. So you want to make it pretty big. For example, in this video, this is about Facebook ads, I believe, $12 to $98 for Facebook ads. That's pretty big difference. So the reach of this is always pretty good, and the selling power/authority is pretty good. Just don't overuse it too much. It'll feel like clickbait. Next one is going to be the authority face. You probably already know what this is. This is pretty much when you have a face, or likely your face, alongside authorities. Someone who's really credible, someone that your ideal client already knows. And this works because social proof is the biggest psychological trigger. Like when people see your face next to an authority's face, they're like, okay, this is the authority that I watch and know and like and trust a lot, but he's next to this guy. I'm starting to like this guy a little bit too. Even though they don't know who that is, they kind of have like a little bit of authority now because they're next to that authority figure. So the intention of this is to pretty much rapidly build authority and credibility. This makes new viewers trust you a lot more before they even press the video. The only downside is that it requires a recognizable person in your niche, and it's hard to execute early in your career without giving that person too much authority and having your viewer go to them instead. But this is where a personal brand comes in handy because people buy from people they know, like, and trust. If they don't really like this person, they're probably not going to buy from them. But if they like you, even though you're a bit smaller of an agency or a business, maybe they don't trust you as much, but they like you a lot more, they're probably going to buy from you. You'd be surprised, but that's really how it works. The reach on this type of thumbnail is pretty good. It's not the best, but it's not bad at all. The selling power/authority is at the max if you execute this properly. Now, the next one is going to be X versus Y. This is a format that we executed for Jay. It's when you're comparing the X thing versus Y thing. And there's two ways you can do this. For example, in this one, we had myth versus truth, like what people think versus what really happens. Or you can do it as like a comparison. For example, YouTube versus Instagram, or maybe paid ads versus cold email. This forces the viewers to pick a side. And this works because the human brain loves comparison. It forces like a debate inside their head. And they like to click the video to find out what side actually wins. And so the intention is to drive clicks through the debate and curiosity. This works really well for educational and opinion-based content, but the only downside is that it can feel generic if the comparison is too obvious or if it's overdone in your niche. You don't want to do this too much. The reach on this is pretty good though if executed properly. The selling power/authority is not that good, but it is more personal branded because like you're giving your opinions. It's not like something that's fact or rooted. So people will side with you if they like you a lot more or if it sounds good. All right, we're running through these, but the next one is going to be a quote. And this one works really well with podcasts. It's when you have a powerful or specific quote or soundbite from a video itself displayed on an actual thumbnail. For example, in this one, you can see, I believe this is a podcast, but it says 4.2 mil every minute. And someone likely said this in the podcast. This works well because it creates intrigue, right? So it gives the viewer a preview of the most interesting thing that they'll hear, and they click the video to get the full context. And so the goal of this is to just tease the viewer with something interesting from the video. But the only downside is that the quote has to genuinely be interesting. Like a weak or generic quote will not make anyone click. This only works usually with authority figures. So the reach is not really that good for the normal person, but the selling power and authority is pretty good if you execute this properly. But once again, it mostly works with authority figures. So if you're pretty big in your space, people know who you are, this will probably work on a podcast or even like a normal video. Next one is a close-up reaction. This one's pretty interesting. I like this one a lot. I'm gonna go with the reach first. The reason why the reach is so high is because not a lot of people do this. Not a lot of people know how to execute this, but if done properly, you can reach so many people. This can be like a very good outlier video. But the selling power and authority is not so high because, well, there's not a lot of things being displayed in a thumbnail besides maybe your face close up and some like screenshots. There's no like tangible result, but it will get the click. You want to have a really strong expression showing on this thumbnail, like for example, shock, belief, excitement, or confusion. And this only works because humans are hardwired to read faces. So like an exaggerated expression triggers an emotional response in the viewer before they even get to process the text. This will get the max CTR possible, especially if it's really well executed like this one. The only downside of this is that it has a low authority signal. It can make you look like a generic YouTuber rather than a serious person if it's overused. So you want to use this like every once in a while, not often though. Next one is going to be open environment / a wide shot. This one's pretty interesting. I really like this one. The reach on this is extremely good. This is like almost an outlier thumbnail, and it does really well because not a lot of people are doing it. I've seen a lot more of these, but not too many. And it's kind of hard to execute. A lot of people use AI and it doesn't look that good. But if you're using your actual headshot, like maybe you have a big tripod and the camera's looking down at you while you're working or while you're doing something, then it can be done extremely well. And the selling power and authority on this is extremely good if executed properly as well. For example, this guy's talking about brand guidelines and brand designs, and he has WAP, which is pretty much a payment processor, he's pretty much going to get a bunch of business owners who actually like design as well, or in brand marketing and brand guidelines. They're going to click this video because they're interested. Or maybe people in the brand/design space in general, they like seeing all the colors, they like seeing the fine prints and everything. They're going to click this video. And so when you leverage this thumbnail, the environment does the selling for you. It's not really any text, and it's not really your face, it's the environment. This is why it's a wide shot. And with these types of thumbnails, you're mostly selling the lifestyle and the identity, not just information. The only downside of this thumbnail is that you get a lower CTR than face-forward thumbnails because the subject is smaller than usual. But this works best when the environment is really interesting or very aspirational. Next one is going to be the authentic candid, and the reach on this is not that good, only because it's pretty niched. But the selling power and authority is pretty good because it feels really authentic. You can see, for example, this one's really good. And I even have this one over here. This is like a vlog though. This is going to be really like entertainment, kind of not really business, but this one is extremely good as well. So you'll see a lot of these with people who are building a really aesthetic personal brand, and it's not a bad thing at all. It makes you stand out and it makes people understand, okay, this guy likes to be taken seriously and he's someone who really likes things in a certain way. And a lot of people are really attracted to this. So this is like a raw or unposed photo of you like in the middle of doing something. Maybe you're on a call, maybe you're reading analytics, packing your bags, maybe on your laptop. And it's just really authentic. It's real life. And this works because, you know, nowadays people are using AI for thumbnails. People are overusing too many things. But this is just authenticity to the max. This is how you differentiate yourself. And this also humanizes the business and maximizes buying signals because people start to trust you and know you and like you a lot more just by looking at the thumbnail. This is also why Daniel Dalen's thumbnails do so good. It's super raw and authentic. The only downside of this is that it can look unprofessional if the image quality is really low. So this needs to be really raw, but also really high quality. All right, now to the last four. The next one is going to be tutorial/result videos. Instead of showing like the process or you finishing a result, you want to show the actual end result. People who click these tutorials, they're looking for an outcome, and that outcome is going to be shown in the thumbnail. If you can show that properly, then the viewer is going to be like, okay, I want this outcome, let me click this video. And this works because the viewer wants the outcome, not really the journey. So you want to show the end result immediately, especially for these tutorial videos. It's kind of selfish. They just want the answer for themselves so they can move on, but you just need to appeal to the viewer in that case. Give them the end result, which is the thumbnail, and kind of the title, and then have them click the video. You want to deliver on the visual promise. Don't lie to them, right? And so the intention of this video is to get clicks by showing the exact deliverable the viewer will walk away with. The only downside is that the result has to be visually compelling, because if the result is like hard to show visually, then this format is going to lose power. For example, in this video here, he showed the end result pretty well. Maybe someone wants to learn Google Ads in under 5 minutes, and they want like $650 spent on ads with 29,000 conversions. That's a lot. So high conversions, little ad spend, and a ton of revenue. That's a big ROI. People want this. This is the end result. They're going to click this video for that result. The reach is extremely high, and the selling power/authority is extremely high as well. This is one of those it'll last forever kind of thumbnails. Next one is going to be the outlier thumbnail. Now this is where it gets interesting. The next three are pretty interesting. So this is a mix of high performing thumbnails mixed into one. You can see from this example, I don't believe this was just one thumbnail from a single person. This is multiple thumbnails combined into one. You have Instagram famous at the top. You probably got this from one thumbnail. Then you have a bunch of people like trying to touch someone from like another thumbnail, most likely. I'm assuming from those videos with paparazzi around people, because I've seen this before just without this text at the top. So you put those together and you get this crazy thumbnail. And once you do this, if you actually can crack the code, like the reach is extremely high to the max, and the selling power and authority is to the max, only if done properly. This works a lot because it's unique and it stands out, and the intention is to find a banger high CTR thumbnail that no one has seen before in your niche. The only downside is that it takes a really skilled thumbnail strategist to come up with this stuff. Like you can't just do this on your own. You need someone who's in the space doing YouTube all the time or learning about YouTube to actually help you cook up a thumbnail like this, because otherwise it's going to come out really bad, and you don't want that. This is what I do for the people that I work with, by the way. I help them create these outlier videos, and not just thumbnails, but also editing, strategy, scripting, everything, combine it into one so they can have a profitable YouTube channel within 90 days. So if you want that for yourself, click the link below, book a free call with me to work with me one-on-one. I'm going to give you all the frameworks, SOPs, and the exact one-on-one coaching that you need to build a profitable YouTube channel within 90 days. All right, and then the next one, this is the second to last one. This is going to be an action shot. And this one's pretty interesting as well. The reach is extremely high if done correctly, and the selling power/authority is going to be in the middle. This is pretty much a shot of you doing X thing mentioned in the title or in the moment. For example, this video is about, using Claude to create a business, and pretty much Claude made him do carpet cleaning. And so he's showing him doing carpet cleaning. This is what we call an action shot. This makes the viewer interested. They're like, okay, this guy's actually doing it, and he's pretty much verifying the title. I'm going to click the video, and I want to see him actually using Claude to go ahead and do this. And so this works because it helps the viewer visualize exactly what's happening in the video early on before they even click the video, almost as if they're already watching it without clicking. So the intention of this is to get more creative and stand out from all the other similar videos in the space. Maybe people are talking about carpet cleaning. You can be like, okay, how do I stand out? Well, let me have Claude tell me the best carpet cleaning strategy. Make a video like this of you carpet cleaning, maybe a Claude logo behind you. You're asking Claude, what's the best carpet cleaning strategy? And then that'll be the perfect action thumbnail. The only downside is that it's pretty hard to take a thumbnail picture like this, and the AIs really kind of suck with this too. So you need to hire a really good thumbnail designer. Now, this final one is going to be faceless, and this has really high reach. This can do extremely well, but the selling power / authority is extremely low. Honestly, I might just give it one box only because there's no face in it and there's no personal connection. This is pretty much a graphic, a visual, and or text to expand on the title with no human in sight. It's faceless. This works because it sells the viewer on the idea of the video. The only thing though is that it doesn't relate on a personal level, but the intention is to get the click and find a way to keep them engaged after they click the video. Because having them click on a faceless thumbnail is one thing, maybe it's super easy, but getting them to actually watch the video and having high engagement rates, that's going to be pretty hard, especially after they see your face after clicking a faceless thumbnail. Like they're going to be like, okay, who's this guy? I didn't see him before. So the downside with this is that they may think it's a faceless YouTube channel. And when they see a real human talking, well, it's either going to turn them off and make them like not want to watch you anymore, or they're going to keep watching because there's an actual human that they can kind of relate to. But with the face in the thumbnail, they would have already related to you. So zooming back out, that is 16 thumbnails that we just talked about. So those are the formats that you need to start packaging your videos like a professional. Your thumbnail is the only thing standing between your ideal client and the value that you provide. So if you want to stop relying on these cold DMs or cold emails or even paid ads and you want to build a profitable YouTube channel, click the first link below to book a free call with me and work with me one-on-one. I'm going to give you all the frameworks, SOPs, and the exact one-on-one coaching that you need to build a profitable YouTube channel within 90 days. We've helped multiple clients do this. For example, Elliot, who collected 50K plus in deals and a 15K painful, or Nick, who also closed 50K plus in deals and also multiple different painfuls, or even Jeff in the e-commerce niche collected 20K plus in deals and an 8K painful from a 7-minute sales call. So if you want the same for you, click the link below to book a free call with me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.